Today I'm in Studio E and I wanted to show you the Hearback system. The Hearback hub gives us 8 independent channels for headphones for the musicians. So what I might typically do, and I can show you here on the controls, is the stereo 1 and 2, which is oddly down here towards the bottom, I typically would use for drums. Now it is stereo, so that means that you can pan in the headphones for the drummers. So we would, as the engineers, create the mix in the studio or in the control room for the drummer, and then he or she has the ability to control the overall level of the drums. Now what's important to note about that stereo 1 and 2 is that it also is the talkback volume, the talkback from the control room from us to the musicians. So it's important that all the musicians in the room have stereo 1 and 2 turned up regardless, because they would need to hear us for communication. Then you have your individual mono channels, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 hanging out there. So you might have bass, guitar, vocals, background vocals, whatever you want going to those individual channels. And then the musicians, each of them, have the ability to mix their own mix at the Hearback hub. One thing that you do have extra here is the link buttons between 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you can link those two channels together to create another stereo pair if you want. So you could have stereo 1 and 2 and then the 6 mono channels, or stereo 1 and 2 and then up to 3 more stereo channels for the headphone mix if you'd like. And then you have volume control hanging out here. Lastly, you have this dial called the limiter to reduce any major clipping or loud volume that might happen in the headphones for the musicians. So it's really great. The only problem that I've found that musicians tend to do first is turn everything down to kind of get started, to null out the box, and then they start dialing in a mix. The only problem is that limiter knob, when you turn it all the way down, you're turning the threshold of the limiter all the way down. So unfortunately, that means it's squashing the life out of all of these volumes. The musician's kind of like, why is everything so soft and why is it all distorted? That's because you're squashing it down with the limiter. So what you have to tell the musician is that actually has to be turned all the way up to get started. And then you can notch it down a little bit if they want to limit their overall mix. And then you have volume hanging out there as well. Some of the other controls, you have the ability to plug 2 pairs of headphones into the Hearback. You also have the line out left and right if you for some reason wanted to send the headphone mix to actually a set of powered wedges, monitors if you want as well. Back here on the back is where you can see the Ethernet input hanging out down there as well. So that's the Hearback hub. Of course, there's a lot of routing that you have to do inside of Pro Tools to get audio to the Hearback, but that should give you a good understanding of what's going on at the hub itself.